If you are new to invest in the stock market, it can be pretty chaotic. You may not even know where to begin. If you don't want to, risk losing money, that's probably the most important thing is never lose money. I know when I first started, I had no idea uh, to even where to find the resources I needed to make the proper decision to invest into a specific company. But look, don't worry your little baby face. I'll help guide your hand to Tendyland. But before we start, let me give a little disclaimer. This is not financial advice. I am an idiot. Don't do anything I tell you, and make your decisions for yourself. Another thing I would like to add is if you do like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, but make sure you do like for that YouTube algorithm. I don't know what the fuck that means, but everyone says it, so make sure you like and subscribe. So this is how we're going to do it. I'll break this up into two parts. The most important part is fundamentals. The second part, which is not so important, but I feel like could help you either way, is trends and sentiment. So let's start off with part one, fundamentals. Now, we cannot speak about fundamentals until we talk about the most important aspect of fundamentals. Ready? Financial statements. I could hear the joy and the cheer of how exciting financial statements are oozing from the monitor. All right, but all joking aside, financial statements is probably the most important aspect of research when investing into a company. You have to do your due diligence and you have to read them, as boring as they may be and as hard as they may be. You could find videos or educational websites that will teach you how to interpret the stuff off of financial statements, but you have to read the financial statements. You have to read the revenue statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, especially those three. Those are the most important three, but you have to read them. Now you may be asking, where do I find such information? Where do I find these financial statements? Well, one good resource is the SEC. You go to the sec.com or .gov, I'm sorry, sec.gov. And they have a program called Edgar, a little search tool. In Edgar, you can type in the ticker you want, press search, and pops up all types of filings that the company will put out. Every public company has to do it. And from there, you can find quarterly statements and annual statements, which will then have all these important documents, all these financial statements. Another place you could find financial statements is the investor relations page for the company that you're just thinking about investing into. Now, be careful with the investor relations page on the company you're looking into, because they are trying to sell themselves. So you may find, they'll have like the important documents that they can't really, be flashy with, like the financial statements, but they do have other information there that they're trying to sell themselves. So, if you're trying to get some confirmation bias, that's always a good place. But if you want to be a smart investor, you kind of have to stray away from stuff that's just going to confirm your bias. You have to kind of look at the stuff that's going to go against your belief. But the investor relations page is a good place to start if you want to kind of get more information and knowledge about the company. Now, another important tactic when it comes to doing the fundamental research on a company is to compare that company to its competitors. Compare ratios like the PE ratio, the PS ratio, and the valuations of the company to the competitors in the field. A helpful source I like to use is barchart.com. Barchart.com is pretty great. It has it lets you compare up to 5 different tickers for each company that you're trying to compare to each other with. So how it works is go to barchart.com. On the top right, there's the tool tab, and then you click on compare stocks. Like I said, it lets you click up to 5 stocks, and then you can compare the technicals, the market cap, the revenue, its income, and its PE ratios. PE ratio is probably the one that I like to use the most when comparing different stocks, because it lets you see how is the stock being evaluated compared to its competitors. And if you find a competitor in this industry that looks like it's undervalued, then that might be a good value play to get into. Now, the final resource I'd like to talk about when talking about fundamental research is a website called Statista. Statista? I think Statista. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Statista.com. I love this website. They have some free information, but if you really want to get the best out of it, maybe pay the premium. It gets a little pricey, but if you really want to get serious about investing, it's a great resource. Now, I like Statista.com for growth stocks and speculative stocks. How that works is, so like, let's use an example. A stock I'm invested in right now is called Jumia, ticker symbol JMIA. Jumia is a competitor to Amazon that operates in Africa. Well, as of right now, Jumia is currently unprofitable. So it's hard to compare things like, the PE ratio for a company that's unprofitable. There is no PE ratio, it has negative earnings. So what I like to do is, is look at like the data, the trends. So back to the example with the Jumia, we look at e-commerce users in Africa and its growth rate. We'll start by searching terms like Africa and e-commerce into Statista.com, and we could see a lot of helpful info like Africa's share of the internet, how many people in Africa are using the internet compared to the rest of the world, online shoppers in Africa, the annual percentage change of e-commerce revenue is we can see it's up 24%, and there's just all types of a lot of helpful info on this website. Now, with that being said, these are all important fundamental research tactics that I recommend. Now we move on to the world of being degenerate. We look at trends and sentiment. Now, with trends and sentiment, I like to focus on Google Trends. Google Trends lets you see how much people are searching for specific terms or searching for that ticker, that stock symbol. This really helps you time things. So if you're trying to do that hype train, if you're trying to get into a stock because you think there's going to be momentum behind that stock and the price is going to drive up, Google Trends helps you kind of see how much sentiment there is around a specific stock and if it's kind of at that peak attention. You don't want to get in at the peak attention because if you do, most likely you're going to fall with it as people stop talking about it. So you kind of see how much people are searching this term and try to time when you're going to get in and when you're going to get out. Now, the next resource I like a lot is Wall Street Bets, the infamous Wall Street Bets. I personally love Wall Street Bets. I find it hilarious. I find it crazy. I think it's one of the most fascinating places on the internet. And while using Wall Street Bets, you could kind of see what stock is being talked about a lot. If there's a lot of sentiment, if there's a lot of people talking about it, that may mean that that stock is going to start trending upwards. By watching Wall Street Bets or looking at Wall Street Bets, you can try to get on that hype train before it really shoots up. And if you're lucky, you may be on that next, GameStop or Sundial. You can possibly get on that hype train before it leaves the station. But with Wall Street Bets, you have to be very careful. You have to do your due diligence. Don't just blindly, invest in something that someone's talking about. Do your research and make your own choices at the end of the day. Another thing I like to advise with Wall Street Bets is there's a lot of obscene language used on Wall Street Bets, a lot of craziness. So just, be aware of that. Now, my favorite resource to use when trying to find, trends and sentiment behind certain stocks, which you're already aware of this one because you're on it, is YouTube. YouTube has some of the most smartest people I've found talking about stocks. Really a lot of good information. It's not just for trends and sentiment. There's a lot of fundamental research that can be done on YouTube as well. But there's a lot of smart YouTubers, a lot of helpful information. My personal favorite is Meet Kevin. I think he's puts out a lot of valuable information that is just free for anyone to kind of pick up. But yeah, you could like kind of get on hype trains or find that trend before it takes off by seeing, all right, what tickers a lot of YouTubers speaking about, how's their views? Are their views gaining around this specific ticker? And from there, you can kind of evaluate if this stock is gaining a lot of traction. All right, that should be it. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found it entertaining. And if you liked it, remember like and subscribe. It really helps out, Also, I create a Patreon. I don't have any sponsors. I'm just starting out. So if you did like this video, it would mean the world if you could go to Patreon and visit that, and I'll put the link for it down in the description. Either way, I hope you liked the video. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day, and thank you.